Hello and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, Jerry Royce, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
Hello, everybody. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to PositivePower21.org. I appreciate you all joining us. Today we got a very special guest. We go all the way back to, I think, around 07 or 08 when I was rocking iRock Talk Radio. And we're going to get a chance to talk to him as soon as I introduce my sponsors to you. And I appreciate having sponsors. And also don't forget, when it's all positive, it's all power. Positive Power 21. I'm Jerry Royce. And our sponsors today on the show is going to be, and luckily for us, I was telling you guys before when I was talking about Fast Tech Solutions. Fast Tech Solutions is really moving fast. They got their website up now. I had a meeting with those guys today. It was a great meeting. I'm glad they're supporting us, and we're supporting them. So they cover Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, PA, and D.C. So if you have IT needs, give those guys a call. They deal with the most sophisticated systems and the most basic systems. And in that case, they like to rebuild your whole infrastructure so they can do everything remotely and take care of you as soon as a need arises. So check them out. Very good, friendly people. All right? And don't forget about my girl, Miss Darlene Rucker. She got a company called Zuki's Pet Gifts. And then we got the Finely Dressed Man at eBay. He got nice items up there, used items. So if you're trying to fix up your wardrobe or you're just getting started, you don't have a whole lot of money to spend, check him out. I know he does have that expensive Will Smith suit up there that Will Smith actually wore himself. And last time I looked, it was going for, I think, $1,200 on the bid. So if you can't get in there, don't worry about it. Somebody else will get it for you. And don't forget about LoriJazz.com, the beautiful songbird Lori Williams out of Washington, D.C. She has 2 CDs out there for you to purchase. Go ahead and grab you some music, okay? All right. We're going to get into Austin S. Camacho. He's my guest tonight. Austin Camacho is the author of 5 novels in the Hannibal Jones Mystery Series, including The Troubleshooter, Blood and Bone, Collateral Damage, Damaged Goods, and Russian Roulette, and 4 in the Stark and O'Brien Adventure Series, The Payback Assignment, The Orion Assignment, The Piranha Assignment, and this year's The Ice Woman Assignment. All right, Mr. Camacho, welcome to the show. You are busy bee. What's going on?
Hey, man, you got to stay busy. That's how you make things happen. You keep moving. But it's real great to be on the show and good talking to you again after all this time. That's
right, man. Yeah, because when I met you the back in, I think, 07, 08, you was rocking the Hannibal Jones Mystery Series. So now you got something else up there now, huh?
Yeah, and a 3rd series that's going to start in the fall.
Wow, get out of here. Yeah. So you are busy. Yeah, I like that website, man. It looks like you, man. You got that, got that wood paneling? Is that wood paneling? Oh, it looks good. I like that. I'm a wood man myself. I was looking at my floors today, man, so I need to get on that this spring. All right, so you're looking good, man. You're keeping it young, keeping it fresh. I see you got a stable of authors, and we want you to tell us a little bit about them. But first, give the audience some of your background, because I know you go way back into the military and college and all that good stuff. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I go way back because I'm getting old. But no, I give you the thumbnail, I guess. Born in New York City, and I was in the Army in the 1980s during the Gulf War, the first Gulf War. I was over there for a little while, but I was there as a reporter. I was a journalist, and I was shooting video, not shooting rifles, doing, kind of bringing back the news. And
that's right.
Then come back here. I was working at Armed Forces Radio and TV for a while. Created a couple shows for them, but all this time, I had stories in my mind to tell. And I got back. I started trying to put some of them together. I wrote the Troubleshooter, which is that first Hannibal Jones story, and I published it with a print-on-demand company at first. And then after I had a couple books out, a small press, a small publisher came to me and said, "Hey, we want to give your stuff a try." So I went on and did that. So it's better to get paid for writing than to pay somebody else.
That's right. There you
go. But they didn't do everything that I thought my books deserved as I kept writing. So ultimately, I decided to go ahead back and do it myself for a little while. And then a couple of years ago, got together with some good folks and decided, you know what, we can do this for other people too, and we formed Intrigue Publishing, which is our own publishing company, and we're putting some other people out there besides me. So yeah, I stay busy.
I hear you, man, because I was surprised when I saw your name next to Intrigue Publishing. I said, wait a minute, because I think I was contacted by somebody else, and I thought Sandra said that was your wife. I was like, wow, he's doing it now. And I was only out of the business for what, 7-8 years, something like that. I come back and you got a publishing company. Oh man, that is wonderful news.
When you got a book out there, when you're a serious writer, your book means a lot to you, and you don't want the person who is publishing your book to be, doing a half job.
That's right.
So we form a company that's very author-oriented and author-focused. We work with those individuals to try to pump up their books and give them the attention they deserve. That's and in the meantime, of course, I'm trying to get my books the attention they deserve. So,
so to your name, you have what, 9 books? Is that right?
Right now, yes, I have 9 novels in print. 5 detective novels with Hannibal Jones, and 4 with this action-adventure series. I've got 3 other manuscripts that are kind of pending, but it's time-consuming to publish a book. So, yeah, they're always written a year before they actually come out.
Right. I was going to ask you how you do that. Wow, that is fantastic. Fantastic. So the Ice Woman Assignment is out there now.
Yes, that's the latest one. I created these 2 adventure characters, Stark and O'Brien, Morgan Stark and Felicity O'Brien, and the original thought was almost kind of a opposites attract thing. Morgan Stark, African American. Ex-military, he was in the Army, Special Forces, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
a real warrior, and he meets up with this woman, Felicity O'Brien, who is Irish, jewel thief and art thief, and they discover that they have this psychic connection. One can tell when the other one's in danger. And they meet up. They meet up because they had each been double crossed, and they found out they were double crossed by the same guy, and they go after him for revenge. That's why that first book is called the Payback Assignment.
Okay, gotcha.
And after that, they form a business, and they're doing personal security because she can stop any thief and he can stop any attack, so they're a pretty good team. And in the new one, the Ice Woman Assignment, what you have is a Colombian drug cartel that's bringing in a new drug, and the FBI asks our heroes to help them track these guys down because they can get into the underworld and whatnot. Yeah. And they end up going to Colombia to attack these drug dealers and bring them down and stop these drugs from coming into the U.S. So it's a lot of action, a lot of adventure, fast-moving story with some characters that I think are pretty darned interesting partners.
Wow. That sounds fantastic, man. I don't know how you do it. Now, it has to be a little different than somebody writing, like an urban fiction book about a couple characters just portraying each other. I mean, I mean, I know you haven't been down there. Have you been down that road yet? Have you tried to write urban fiction?
I've never really tried to write what you would call urban fiction. I think when I wrote my first detective story, The Troubleshooter, it's rooted in the hood, as it were.
Right.
But the urban stuff that I've read, the characters that are supposed to be the heroes, they're never people I can like and respect. And I don't want to read a story where everybody in there is a drug dealer or a pimp or a hooker or something. So I create this character, and he's living in Southeast D.C., which that's not the best neighborhood.
Right.
But he, Hannibal Jones, he can be a man of honor and strength and vision and try to set a positive example. That's where I am. That's why I don't do the urban thing too much, because your heroes ought to be heroes. They ought to be setting the example.
That is true. Because where I was going at, it had to be a little different than, the Troubleshooter. That was your first one. You're dealing with Hannibal. Now, when you're dealing with like the assignment, the Ice Woman assignment, you have a lot going on with. So it's a lot to keep up with. So, what was the challenge writing that book, or those four books?
I got to tell you, with the action adventure series, they are not. How can I say this? They're not a narrow focus. They're international thrillers. So I had to do a lot more research. To write the Hannibal Jones Mysteries, I don't have to drive any further than downtown D.C. I go in there and I look around, I get the feel, But for these, I had to do serious research about other countries and other cultures and other peoples, and I try to bring all of that into the books to make them truly international. So maybe you can get a feeling of a bigger, wider scope of the world in those books, and they're lighter. They're not so dark and so grim and serious. So that was the big challenge, I think. A lot of research goes into those.
Now, did you have to be careful with some of the settings in the story where you didn't duplicate something you saw on TV or in the movies?
Well, I don't think I've ever had that problem. It's never been a challenge for me to be creative. Always find something new, something that nobody else has done or been there. But I think I know you talk to a lot of writers, and I think most writers will tell you, even if I see something, okay, I saw something on TV, even if I wanted to write that thing, by the time I got finished with it, it would be something entirely new and different.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, because there's so many spy movies out there. We can go on from James Bond all the way up to today. With the Tom Cruise spy series, and also the Bourne Identities. Those guys seem like they're not repeating action scenes that, because I've been watching Bond movies for a long time, and even Get Smart was my man, back in the day. And you don't see, it's like, wow, these guys are not duplicating nothing. They're really out there. These writers are really out there. So wouldn't that be great, though? What would be a big dream for you for any one of these action movies? What would be fantastic? Came across your desk.
I would tell you, I think my series here, especially the new series, the Stark and O'Brien stuff, would be great as a movie, but I would want somebody like, I don't know, Quentin Tarantino maybe, or John Woo, somebody that can really get into the action. You know what I mean? Yeah. In this last book, for example, they have to get into the compound where they're doing the drugs in Colombia. And so the only way they could safely get in there is they parachute in at night with low opening parachutes. They get in there, and the drug dealing cartel, which is called the Escorpionistas, by the way, they have their compound guarded by these animals that are called maned wolves. And they look like almost a cross between a wolf and a horse. I saw that they are native to Colombia, and I pulled them into the story. So you got some strange animals attacking them, some very different action, but before the end of the book, they end up tied to a helicopter, hanging under the helicopter while the pilot is flying them into trees trying to kill them. So there's some action here that I don't think you've seen anywhere else or heard about anywhere else.
Oh, heck no. Not that one. And I've seen a lot of, and, I was really deep into comic books and everything. And it just, like you said, you can really, if you have a creative mind, you're not going to repeat anything,
Right.
I mean, see, most of the time you're trying to, your mind is so out there, you're coming up with new characters. You kind of don't want to get away from too many of your characters because the people get attached to them, especially some of the villains. Now, do your villains repeat in any of your books?
No, they don't. I think now I'm thinking through. They all end up in jail in the Hannibal Jones series, and so far in the Stark and O'Brien stuff, I've pretty much killed all the bad guys at the end of the story.
So they better not get attached to any of your villains, huh?
No,
I understand.
But I'm working on a story where not the villains, but I always have a major villain, and then he'll have a couple of followers. I'm working on a story where the followers of the earlier books all get together to go after my heroes. It just occurred to me that'd be a cool idea for all the minor bad guys to get together and say, okay, we want revenge because you killed my boss. We'll see if that appears in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because you're going to keep this train moving, right?
Absolutely. People do become attached to your hero characters. And so, as soon as people read that last book, they're okay, when's the next one? What are they doing next?
Right.
Where are they going next?
Yeah. And that got to be the challenge as a writer because, I mean, you finish writing it, you're working to get it, edit and everything, get it out there to the public. It's out there, you're doing the shows, people getting the book. Somebody probably got it on an ebook. They show up to buy a hard copy to get it signed. Now they're waiting. What's next? Things so fast now. Now, what do you think of the ebook system?
Well, I got to say two separate things.
Okay.
As a reader, I'm not a Kindle kind of guy. I really like to hold a book in my hand, to feel it and smell it and get into it. And when I want to flip back 2 pages and read that paragraph again, I can. And I like a physical book. Now, as an author, I have to admit, ebook sales are great. I sell more ebooks than physical book. Well, every day there's fewer bookstores.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
And it's so easy for somebody with the Kindle, so I like that one. Let me just get these other 4. Boop, 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 and they got them.
Yeah, so impulse buying.
There you go. The impulse.
We were just talking about that.
I'm all about the ebook.
Yeah, I feel you, because we were just talking about that. Rhonda Lawson, I was talking about that on Saturday. She was saying, you got some impulse buyers out there. If they read that one book, they rock Ice Woman Assignment. Oh, wow, I love that book. See what else this guy has out there. And then they go back and find out you have the Payback, the Orion, and the Piranha.
Yeah.
You got sales. Now, are all these books offered for Kindle or, for electronic downloads?
They're all out there as ebooks. I can tell you for the Kindle, all of them are $2.99.
Wow,
not going to break the bank. And if you're scared to risk that much money, not a problem. I've been putting some short stories up there. I got 2 short stories out there now, 99 cents. So you can read those and, say, well, let me see if I like this guy's style or not.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
You can grab that story and read it in a few minutes, and then you can see if you dig it.
That's right. All right. You got it. You got it all under control, Camacho. Let's talk about a little bit about the technology a little bit. It's always a fun subject for me because I love electronics. I think I wish I was a little younger so I can be around a little longer to enjoy it. It's so fascinating, man. Between the tablets, you got your iPhones, your Androids, you got your now you got these touch screen monitors at home as big as TVs. This is a good time to be an author. A good time.
Absolutely. But the same thing that promotes you like that also creates challenges because as a writer, and I tell this to writers all the time, I write mystery novels. My competition is not other people writing mysteries, because if you like one mystery, you might try mine. My competition is TV and TV on the web and music you can snatch off the web in 10 seconds. All this technology is lots of entertainment options.
Yes.
And I fear that our younger folks are less likely to actually sit still and read a book than I was when I was a younger folk.
But you know what, Camacho? If I didn't have children, I would agree with you. But I'm going to tell you, the school system, especially here in Baltimore County, they have been really, really good about making the kids read books. I'm talking about these 100-book challenges. My son, he was going through books all through the summer, all year round. He wanted to get his medal. He wanted to collect more medals. And they have these contests. They have spelling bees. The teachers are still keeping the kids engaged, even though we have all this other. Now, there's some challenges for him when he has a couple of teachers asking for projects around the same time, and he needs my help. And I said, well, look, I don't have time to read this whole book. Let me go out on the net, grab some information, and we'll try to put something together so we can answer these questions, put an outline together, and build this. Because a lot of times he has to build a project about the book, not necessarily write a. They kind of getting away from you writing book reports now. Maybe they saving it for college, but what they have to do now he had a mystery book he had to read about this white kid who had hooked up with this older black islander, where the family was involved. I think his dad was a mechanical engineer or something, and something happened to their ship, and this kid got stranded with this black guy, and he was prejudiced against black people, but they became friends while they were stranded, and the black guy helped him survive the the jungle and the weather and all that stuff. So anyway, make a long story short, I didn't really have that much time to read that whole book. But him and I, we had to build a memorial for the black man because he died. So the kid had to build a memorial like in his backyard. So we had to do that with a shoebox. So that's what kind of stuff they have to do. Those kind of creative things.
Get you really involved.
Yeah, so he was really into that book because he was telling me about the kid. He said, yeah, Dad, that family, his mom especially didn't like black people. And it was really deep, man, that book. I was surprised he let it. He's only 11 years old, reading a book like that. Yeah, I forgot the name of that book. It was something called something. I wish I remember the name of that book. But it was an interesting project. I figured that project, I don't know why it didn't stick to me, but I'm sure the character stuck to him because he had to do something in honor. It was surrounded around the Martin Luther King Memorial. So then they had to they got to understand what a memorial really stood for. To honor someone. All that came into play, man. And then speak of that, I just want to let everybody know that the Harriet Tubman Memorial was coming to the Eastern Shore, and they'll be breaking ground sometime late this spring, early summer.
Really? Where's it going to be?
I was going to be in Cambridge, Maryland.
All right.
Cambridge, Maryland. Yep, just got the good news from my dad. He was on my show about a week ago, and he announced the good news. The state of Maryland, Governor O'Malley, President Obama, all them guys were involved. It's going to be on 500 acres of land. It's going to be so when that thing goes down, man, I'm gonna make sure I invite your company to come out, man. It's going to be a big ceremony. I mean, it's going to be state of the art. It's not going to be like any of the others that's out there. This thing is going to be interactive. $17 million. Yes, and it's going to be like a national memorial, so it's going to be federal, employees, all that good stuff.
That's the way you preserve that history. Preserve
That's right, man. That's right. Because she helped, make us who we are today, man. She was a tough woman, man. She fought in the war. She freed people, and then they bring another guy to light named Kofi. I think his name was Paul Kofi. I think they bring him to light too. He was one of the first black men that owned ships that was rich.
Oh.
From I think he's from Massachusetts. Right. Yeah. So we got all this stuff going on. So anyway, to get back to talking about the technology, the good and the bad. Now I see you have a lot of videos out there, man. So what are you doing in the videos? I just realized you have video. I saw you on Sandra's show. Now I'm looking. I see you standing, look like in the library. So what's going on here on Russian Roulette? I think you're talking about.
I had some different ideas on how to do a book trailer, and the thing is, I had a lot of people. As soon as you have some success, there are people that want to share.
Okay.
And I had a lot of people coming to me saying, "Hey, you need to have a book trailer, and we can get you a super book trailer, $2,500, $1,500, $3,000." They were all, and I was going, well, you know what? Maybe a book trailer is a good idea, but I don't think I need to go to all that. So you can see on my website there are a couple that are just produced by a professional producer, but then there's one that's just me talking. I got a buddy of mine had a video camera, and I wrote myself a little script and memorized that. And we went in at that time. I'll tell you, this is a couple years ago. I had very good connections with the people at Borders Books before Borders went away. Okay. And they let me go into the Borders in Springfield Mall and kind of set up the camera and kind of take the place over. So that video where you see me walking, I'm walking through the stacks of the books or the bookshelves. That's Borders Books in Springfield Mall, and we did that. Took us about an hour. It cost me about a case of beer for the cameraman. And I have to say, of all of them, that's my favorite. That's my favorite one.
That's right, man. Really, all you need is and they tell you all over YouTube if you're trying to learn video production, as long as the sound quality is great, you can be showing anything on camera, but the sound quality has to be there. And and so we're gonna check that out, man. And that was for Russian Roulette.
Yes, that was for Russian Roulette, which was the last Hannibal Jones that was published. I got another one that will be coming out in the winter. But when I put that book out, I thought, you know what? What I really want to do is connect with my readers. How do I connect with my readers? Well, I'll just talk right to them. I tell them I take about a minute and a half maybe and just tell you about what's going on with this book. And I tell you what's going on with Hannibal Jones. I got African-American private eye working in Washington, D.C., and here's what he does. And I think it's cool.
Yeah, man, I'm going to have to snatch that, man, and put that on the site because I promised my audience that I was going to put some what we call, they call them, I guess, vlogs, but I call them video blogs, but they got all kinds of names for stuff, V-blogs, you name it. I have actually a page for that. So I'm going to snatch one of those and put it on that page. Every time I go out there on YouTube, I see something interesting I think someone else would like because I know it's so hard to find, everybody out there, like new people because you really don't know who you're looking for. But if I see somebody interesting or somebody I want to interview, I'm going to put them on my video blog page, and I'm definitely going to grab that one because there was a young lady her name was Treese. She had one.
Trice.
She was out on a beautiful, Trice. You know her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try
to get her. Small community, brother.
Yeah, I was looking at her stuff. I probably connected to her from probably one of your people's Facebook page, probably. I was looking at her stuff. She's out on a balcony. She has some makeup on, all nice, her hair fixed. She's speaking so well. And I was like, wow, what a great, and she has 2-angle shots, which was really nice. And I said, wow, she's speaking really, really well, articulating about her book. I'm not really a big buyer of, fictional books and those kind of things. My main thing is I like reading books on management and business and that kind of stuff. Self-help type books. Helping you in business. That's what I spend my money on. But I love to help people who are in any type of genre. I have no problem with that. When I read any synopsis that you have out there, or listen to your videos, I would love to sit down and listen to you talk for 15 minutes. I have no problem with that. But I thought it was so nicely done. So I'm like, why is everyone doing this? Why not? Beyonce and Jay-Z is already showing us what it's like to give people full-blown concerts on YouTube for free. And what it does is it brands you and make people fall in love with you. And then they just want everything. They want everything, your shirt off your back, right? Now what are you after? What are you giving your audience right now? I know you guys are doing your tours and everything. What are you guys planning with let's talk about Intrigue a little bit, since we moved past the half hour. What are your plans for Intrigue Publishing right now?
Well, long-term plan is to build a solid group of writers, and we work in different genres now. Right now we've got a lot of crime fiction, mysteries, and thrillers. We're really strong there because, that's the ones I know. But we've also got a couple of young adult novels that have been very well received, and they're moving on. Now we're getting ready to go into some urban drama. We've got B. Swang and Webster. We'll have her book out this summer. We're going to move in that direction, and we're also looking after we get solid there. We're also going to be looking for some sensual romance.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
I'm not talking about pornography, but some the kind of books that women really like. We'll
romance stuff. Yeah, real romantic type stuff. Yeah,
yes.
They can get caught up.
So we stick to those. We'll stick to those 4 genre, and I would tell you our business model is that we get the manuscript. We get a lot of submissions. And we're reading all the time, and you keep going until you spot one that really fires your imagination. And you say, okay, we'll take that. Then we send it to a professional editor. We send it to a professional proofreader. We do a couple of rewrites. We make sure we get it as good as it can be. We get it a really good cover. And then we go attack the people at Barnes & Noble, and we work it on the eBooks. We do eBooks and the paper books. We go after getting good reviews. And what we're trying to do here is to build an author's career. So I'm not looking for somebody who's only got one book in them. I'm looking for somebody that's going to hit it again and again and build a series like I did and have an audience following them. So that's the long-term view.
That's right. That's the way to go. Now, let me ask you about the ebook. Now, how does that work? You're working on the book. I know you're doing everything, all the mechanical parts of it, getting it fixed right. How is that? Does it go to a company that actually format that for you for Kindles and tablets and different things?
We actually do that in-house. It was a fairly steep learning curve, but we figured that out. So we actually do that here. Actually, Denise does the formatting to put them up there for Kindle. And the good news about the eBooks is you can sell them inexpensively because it's a one-time expense. You don't have to pay every time somebody buys one to make them. So we can give the author a really good royalty, a really good split on that, so that he can feel like he's making some money. And that's I hate to say it, but that's a part of it. You don't feel like you're really a published author unless you're getting something out of it.
That's right. You get some money. Yeah.
We pay an advance against your royalties, like most mainstream publishers do. But we want you to keep making money off into the future. So, and the ebook thing. The ebook thing has worked well for us. We have found an audience there. I'm very happy.
Yeah, it's because you have so many people that's really, connected with the technology. I mean, that they really did a great job coming out with the different tablets. I mean, the iPhone. Apple did a tremendous job marketing the tablets, and then everybody else just followed suit. Microsoft, you name it. You go out there now to Best Buy, man. You have some serious choices, man. I like the 6-inch one because I can put it in my back pocket. I can carry it around the house. Take calls on it. You name it. Now, for your people, was there anything you had to change? That whole mindset, because I know everybody want to be sitting at their table signing books. Was that a challenge?
Some people, for a couple of people it was, but if you're not, if you come to us, even if you've got a fabulous book, but if you come to us and you can't get your head right, we can't do business. We don't just buy the rights to a book. We're also buying that individual, that person. It has to be somebody we can work with, that we can welcome them into the Intrigue family. And we all work together, man. Everybody comments on each other's blogs, and we give shout-outs to each other on Facebook and on Twitter. We retweet each other's stuff. We go to, if we get a chance to go to a book signing, you try to have 2 writers, 3 writers. We did one this weekend where we had 7 of us.
The mystery man. The mystery man, huh?
Yeah, we're the Meet Mr. Right, and that's 4 mystery writers, and we our work's a little different, but a little the same, and I did some reading, and we talked to everybody that came in, and we had a little bit of party, there.
Good. So you guys went to Delaware? Is that where you guys went to Delaware?
Yes. Right. There's a new bookstore chain called Second and Charles. And I think in this particular one, I walked in and said, this used to be a Borders. They took it over. But they were very welcoming to us, and the people in there were very nice. They had a nice table all set up. We put up our banner, because we have a banner that says Meet Mr. Right. But the ladies that we travel with, who are called the Book Beavers on Tour, they have a poster too. So we had them up there, and people they want some excitement. They want a show. They don't want you just sit there and say, "Oh, come buy my book."
That's right, man. They want the whole shebang, man. They right, because you want them to hang around for a while. Say, look, you come into my family, I'm going to entertain you.
Exactly.
Now how you think I'm looking at your books. Well, I'm looking at the top level right now, not the Stark and O'Brien adventure. So I'm looking at your Hannibal, and I'm saying Hannibal Jones remind me that could be a serious, animation, series. You ever thought about that?
I haven't thought about animation because I wouldn't reject anything. I've always thought it would make a great TV series.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you think about it, when I was growing up, there was like every other show on TV was a private eye or a detective of some kind.
It was.
Right now, there are no private detectives on TV.
Wow.
And also, my character, this is a small thing maybe, but my character happens to be an African-American man, and I look on TV, and except for comedies, I don't see an African-American man who is the star of the show.
Yeah, right. We lost Blair. Yeah, you're right. We lost Blair Underwood's show when he was doing that remake.
That show didn't last very long. Ironsides. He was in and out before I had a chance to blink.
I know. I saw one series. I saw one show, and I only think the whole show. Yeah, right. And a lot of people were hoping that thing was going to stick around. They pull a plug on. They don't give you a chance to really fall in love like Scandals. they kind of act like they kind of figuring things out. It's like twists and turns. But everybody got a chance to fall in love with it when it went on Netflix, and then it looked like it came back. Because I don't even think it was surviving TV the first time around. Because I looked at like 2 seasons on Netflix, and I was like, where did this come from?
Well,
next thing you
what
know,
what I've noticed is, and I was going to tell you, if my fairy godmother would ever grant my wish and somebody come around and say, we want to make a TV series, what do you think?
Yeah,
I'm going to say, you know what? Put me on USA. Put me on TNT. Put me on FX or somewhere. Because on those smaller stations, they'll leave a show on for a year to see if somebody's going to watch it. But if a show's on NBC, ABC, CBS, one of them, the 3 big guys, boy, if your audience don't find you in 2 or 3 weeks, you're out of there.
I know, they don't play. They put a little money in marketing, and they pull. Because, I find that a lot of the like Continuum is on the sci-fi. I love that show. I discovered them on Netflix. I didn't even know they were on regular TV. I was on Netflix. I was like, what is this? And Continuum is awesome. Awesome.
I actually think that's a Canadian show.
Yes, it is.
I think it was on in Canada first. But I watch it too.
Yeah, love that show. Love that. Yeah, and, Kira, she's something else, boy. Something else.
And I watch a lot of the BBC stuff, the British stuff.
Yeah.
I like. Yeah. First of all, I like Luther.
Yeah, I heard that's pretty good. Yeah, he's on Netflix too.
Yep. Sure is. But I've also very much gotten into their historical shows. This one, Copper, which is a police show, but it's set in the 1880s or something like that in New York City. Wow. Man, that's hip. And it's right after the Civil War, and the guy's best friend is a black doctor, and they're dealing with what it was like to be a professional in that time. So that show is hip. Check out some of the BBC stuff, man. They got some grooves going on.
Yeah, gotta do it. Now this is like digging a little deep, where we are now. But are you familiar with webisodes? Yes, I have watched a couple. And once again, like I said, that's more competition for those of us that just write books, because that's hit it right now. They're pretty good.
Watch it right now. And
some of those are pretty good. Yeah, and they're not that long neither. Some of them, like 20 minutes. They got a team of actors together. They got some scripts in their hand, and the sets are beautifully done. I understand some of them are using iPhones and iPads to shoot the production. Wow. Yeah, because it'll take a lot.
You know anybody that's doing that?
That actually is doing it. Well, I was watching one for like a day or two, but I know it's a young lady that's on my website. Was on a few episodes. It was shot in Baltimore somewhere. I can't remember. I think it was called "Why I Got My Pants Hanging," something crazy name like that. But if you go to my podcast and look up Crystal Francis, Google her name, it'll come up.
Okay, I want to check that out.
And it was shot. It was shot really well. They did a really good job. of course, some of the actors were a little, suspect, but it was still entertaining. If you get hooked onto it, because look, it looks like you have to have a series of them up already, because once you get that person glued in and watching, they want more, because we spoil now. Audiences are really spoiled. Like, I don't really like to watch anything that's not available on demand. So in other words, if I skip a couple of weeks, I want to be able to go back. And, I don't listen to any of the people or read all the stuff about the scandal that's going on, because I may wait till the summertime and catch year 13 in 2014 in, a week or two. I might just be on vacation, and I'm just going to just be relaxed. We're not going anywhere because we already got that plan, but this is my week,
Right.
Just TV in front. But, now since I'm back in the podcasting, I don't get a lot of that time, but believe me, when I be on vacation, I'm going to be vacationing. This will still be around at night. Yeah. So that is something that you. Yeah. So you would, be open to, doing something like that if an offer came that you say, okay, we're in a position now we can fund our own project. Just get a team of actors. Let's do Hannibal Jones Mystery.
I would love to do that. I'd love to do something like that. Find somebody to play Hannibal. Yeah.
You gotta find a local guy.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do some auditions, man, and get something going. I mean, now if you had a chance to do something like that, Austin, would you try to do? I mean, like an hour and a half, like a movie, or would you just say, okay, let's just do small, 20 minutes here and there?
I actually think it would be better to break it up into smaller pieces.
Right.
And do it like the old movie serials used to be, where, you would always end with a cliffhanger. And you don't know what's going to happen next. That would be fun. That would be fun.
Else? You know what else I always wonder why people never, I remember Tom Joyner used to do it. Remember Tom Joyner had his morning show, had a team of actors come on, and I think they were on for like 10, 15 minutes. I mean, I thought that was my wife was glued into that. Radio entertainment. What they call that back then? Because you didn't have TV, so you had to listen to everything like the sports, boxing, baseball. Everything had to be done on the radio. And they did mystery. I think, didn't Hitchcock do some of his stuff like that? Yep,
they did radio.
Yeah.
Sure. And you can do that radio drama because people have to use their own imagination.
Right. That's what it's called, radio.
You don't have to build a set or anything like that. You just need some sound effects.
That's right. A few rehearsals, and you're ready to. And everybody's pretty much just reading from their paper, so they just have to make sure that they can read.
Don't even have to memorize the script.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I would take that, man. I mean, most of the time I like to sit back and listen to the ball game with my eyes closed. When I'm listening to the baseball game. Oh, man. Today, listening to the Orioles win that game, and that guy hit that home run, I had to go get his shirt number 23. And his name was Nelson Cruz. My hero. He won. I was concerned, man. I was like, can Baltimore beat Boston? Didn't they win the World Series last year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying, why did they pick them for opening day? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm like, I'm gonna look at the last 3 innings. And that's
I have no idea how they make those decisions or arrange those things.
I know, man. They do Baltimore like that all the time, man. I mean, they do our Ravens. Man, we had to open up last year with Denver Broncos, and then we couldn't even play in our own stadium. We had to go to Denver, and we got blown out of the water. That season was downhill from the start. So,
everybody can't be the champ, but if you love your team, and it doesn't matter.
That's right, man. But you got to get that W, man. That was great getting that first opening day win here, in our own home, So that was wonderful, man. So that was a great start, man. Everybody was looking good out there. The defense was tight, hitting a little bit, getting some. Well, it take a while to get your bat and your hitting back around, but the pitching, you want to come out really, really good with some defense. And they held him, man, 1-1 all the way up until, I think, the 7th inning when he hit that solo home run. So that was fantastic. But look, man, we're coming up on the end of the hour, and I know you want to talk a little bit more about Intrigue and where you guys going to be this summer. We'll talk about the conference. So we'll give you a little time. Let's talk about the conference, man. What's going on into the planning of that? I see you started really, really early.
Yes, it's a year-long process, and as soon as one ends, you take a deep breath and you start working on the next one. And the way we do that conference, which is called the Creatures, Crimes, and Creativity Conference, because we wanted to take in all of the fun kinds of fiction. Of what they call genre fiction. So mysteries, suspense, thrillers, horror, science fiction, fantasy. We got some paranormal people there, and what we do is we attract we attract a lot of writers, but we also get a lot of people who are just readers and fans. And we have panels all day of authors talking about a variety of things, talking about what it's like to do the writing and talking about how do you make good characters and who's your favorite writer and all kinds of stuff. We always have some big names. We got at least 3 New York Times bestseller authors that are going to be there this year. Rebecca York, who writes romantic suspense and a lot of paranormal and kind of dark fantasy. And we have Brad Parks, who is another private eye writer. He writes stuff very similar to mine. And he's a good guy too. He's a hoot. And C.J. Ellison, who kind of is into that paranormal thing, but more on the romantic, almost erotica kinds of stuff, but not quite. But we just have a lot of fun. And the thing about the conference, because we want to keep the writers and the readers hanging out together, we all the meals are included in the registration.
Oh, wow.
So we all get together and have dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner Saturday, and then breakfast Sunday morning. And
so you have a set number of the fans. You already know who the fan's going to be. So you got a set number already. Okay.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And
so it's not so you're not going to be. So anybody comes through the door, they already accounted for. Everybody's accounted for.
Well, by the time it happens, they will be.
Okay.
We got to get the count pretty accurate for the meal count, but we got until 2 weeks before the thing, and it all goes off in October 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yes, we'll be ready for it.
If your folks can spell creatures, crimes, and creativity.com, that's the website, or what I usually tell people is, you know what? Find me on Facebook. I'm all over the place on Facebook and Twitter and my website. And I'm out there, and I will guide them to it. I'm doing my best. You can't you can't hide your light.
That's right, man. Now you're a publisher, man. So you have everything out there. Now you got this big conference that you guys putting on every year. Now you still attending conferences, also, are you? Are you still doing that?
Oh yes, I go to a lot of them every year. This year, I've already been to Bay to Ocean, which was the one over there on the Eastern Shore, and Writers Alive in Washington D.C. But we went to Love Is Murder, which is a mystery conference up in Chicago. I'll be in Thriller Fest in June with B. Swang and Webster, Sandra. And I'll be at what's the other one? What's the one in Omaha? Magna Cum Murder. I try to make an appearance at everybody else's conference too. That's right. In this business, just like in your business, networking is the thing.
Absolutely.
You got to connect with people and meet people.
And you know what this reminds me of too, because I'm just getting back into podcasting just December, and I just really made up my mind to go back into. Matter of fact, when I met up with B. Swang, and that's when I decided after talking to KR Ray, those two, that I need to come back over to, just interviewing book authors, where before I was more trying to get into like positive energy, bringing people on that's positive, just to teach people how to get out of their rut. But now I'm finding out, because you guys carry so much energy, they can learn from you guys just listening to some of the things you're doing. Because, Rhonda Lawson is an incredible person, and she's doing everything right over in Belgium on a military base, still connecting with her fans, about to embrace technology. She has a young daughter who's all up on top of social media, so she's about to team up with her, listening to you guys, doing conferences, visiting conferences. I think you guys got a lot of energy going on that I think people can learn from you guys just listening to you on my show.
Well,
that's
whatever
what I decided to do.
Whatever your dream is, whatever it is you want to make happen, you got to get out there and make it happen.
That's right.
It requires a certain amount of energy and a certain amount of dedication, no matter what it is you want to achieve. But you can sit all by yourself and be a writer, but nobody's going to read your stuff. You got to get out there and tell somebody about it.
Yeah, right, and I love the energy that you girls have. Now, how was KRA connected with you guys? She's out there with you too, right? But she's not on your publishing house.
She's one of the we haven't published her, but she is one of the book divas on tour with Sandra B. Swang and Webster and with Dee Lawrence, who's also a great writer. And the three of them are touring together. Right. And when writers meet at these conferences, you kind of get drawn toward whoever's got some positive energy and got the right vibe, and they're working their thing. They're on their grind, as you say, and you hang with those people. And they're there if you have a bad day. You're there if they have a bad day, and that's how we all move forward.
That's right. Now, so Dee Lawrence, she's not under your publishing house. No,
we haven't published it. Although when she finishes this next book, I hope she will submit it to us for a look. But no, we don't. You don't have to be published by Intrigue for us to support you. We support local authors.
Yeah,
we want everybody to. A rising tide lifts all the boats.
That's true. That is true. When it's coming, it's coming. And that is fantastic. Now, the group that you had with you on tour Saturday, the Mystery Men, are they all under your publishing house?
No, one of them is. D.B. Corey, who wrote a fabulous medical thriller called Chain of Evidence. And that book is going great guns. It is selling like crazy. And he was there. But we had a couple of other detective writers. One of them I met through the Maryland Writers Association. And the other guy, I was in a writers group with him a long, long time ago. So, that's Dana King, and he's been out there writing for a long time, and now he's making it. And it's the same thing. I said, you know what? One writer could draw a crowd, but four writers can draw a bigger crowd. So let's hang together and support one another.
That's right, all that positive energy. Now, what's going on now? How, are you guys connected with any book clubs? I know the book clubs are humongous, and what are they looking for nowadays?
Now, I visit book clubs whenever I can, and that's a lot of fun. They'll all read your book, and then they invite you to the house, and they give you a meal, and then they tear you apart. But
they come at you.
It's good for a writer to get that direct, immediate feedback when you're sitting in a room full of people, and they're usually all ladies, and they say, we really like this character. That character we didn't like so much, or, wow, this part of the book was great, this part was a little slow. You take all of that in, and it helps you to make the next thing better. So it's always a positive experience. I love anybody listening. If you're in a book club and if you're within anything like driving distance of Maryland, I'm happy to come to a book club. If you're across the country, no problem. That's why they invented Skype. I can still be in your meeting and talk to you.
That's right. People got them big widescreen smart TVs now. Man. Fantastic technology. That's why I love it. Now, my brother has a book club on the Eastern Shore in Kent County, which is just an hour, 20 minutes on the other side of the little outlets over there that everybody drives over for. I'm going to talk with him and find out what his club is doing. I think his club is pretty big now, and I know he's swinging a photography group and an art group. So I'm going to find out what's going on with his book group.
I'd be happy to come over there. You know, we go to the Bay to Ocean conferences in Way Mills. It is way past where your brother is.
Yeah, I know Way Mills because you guys going past Chesapeake College in that case. Yeah, right. My parents live over in Easton, so they're not too far from there. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I just joined up with about 2 or 3 groups out of Eastern Shore that are book clubs, and they had a lot of members. Yeah, I'm at the I'll give you that group name. You can check those ladies out.
Yeah.
I just seen a couple guys just join up with them. Yeah, I just joined up with them this past weekend. Got to get away from the other group of Facebook. You know, I got to start getting more into the professionals. You know, got to move positive power forward. Yeah, absolutely.
And if it's a good book club, we've got 5 or 6 writers. We could cycle through there. They could have a writer at every meeting for the next 2 months.
Yes, and that was one of the things I was putting out there too. I was, letting some of those club members know. I said, if you have an author that you guys are interested in, hearing on the show or in your home, let me know. I can get them on the show. And then they can all tune in and do a Q&A. We can do a Q&A right here on Positive Power.
Hey, that's
I could take up to 1,000 people on this network.
I can dig that.
Yeah, so if you ever want to put something together like that where you get it, connected with a book club, you want Positive Power to record and making a nice show, we can do that, man. They can have. I guess we can have a moderator, be able to have the questions prepared for you, so it won't be everybody speaking at once. That'd be fantastic, man. So we'd love to join forces with you guys. I know we're going to be with you guys in October, but before then, if you want to put something together to help promote what you're doing, we would love to be part of it. Okay?
I'm going to work on that.
All right. Get the wife on it, right?
Yes.
Now, you guys are based in D.C., your offices?
Well, we're actually, our offices are in Cheltenham, Maryland, which is a little town. It's just outside of Waldorf.
Oh,
that's where our addresses are. So we're kind of central, but we go all over. We go into the district. We'll go down into Virginia, up into the yard. We were in Delaware this last weekend. So we're not afraid to extend our footprint as much as we can. Right.
Yeah, and I want to ask you this too. Now, where would a person go when they want to find out? Like, is it one source you go to find out where all events are happening, the book events?
There isn't really a good single source for book events. I wish there was, but there isn't. But now, if it's anywhere near here, even if we're not going to be at it, we usually talk about it on the Intrigue Publishing Facebook page. So you could catch it there or on my Facebook page. I like to talk about other people's events as much as I can. But as far as I know, there is no good central resource.
Okay.
Maybe I need to start that.
Yeah, I was right. I know when we had iRock, we had because we were doing publishing also. We was helping people put their books together back then. We had a page that had a count of events. I had all the New York, the Baltimore, Washington Conference, Philly. So we're gonna probably try to cover as far as like driving, like 15 hours if you want to drive, like Florida, Atlanta, that area.
Right.
And so we're gonna try to cover maybe half of the United States on this side, what they call the right side. So the Gold Coast. So we'll do that. We'll put that together. One day I don't have much to do. I have my daughter sit down and help me do some searches, see what's going on out there. Because it's still pretty early in the season right now for everybody to be doing warm weather traveling. It'd be fantastic. Now I remember you used to be pretty clever with your events. You used to do wine fest and all those stuff. Are you still doing those things?
I had gotten away from it, but now I'm getting back into it. I'm finding it a good way to connect to people, so I'm doing more and more of that.
Good. So you finding yourself almost every weekend. So how do you plan yourself? You say, okay, the wife has to have some time. Do you guys say, okay, 2 times a week? 2 times a month we'll do travel and then stay home and work in the office?
You know what? Anytime one of us sees one that looks like, oh, this would be a good place, we just go ahead and do it. We're not even always at the same thing. So we could cover 3 events at once if we want to, but we try to be a little selective. I don't have my schedule here in front of me right now, but we've got a lot of these things set up over the summer to visit.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Well,
because I have your website up in front of me now, and I was wondering, did you have everything under news and events on the site?
I don't think I'm updated this week, so it's probably
you
not
go
all
through.
there.
Yeah, what you have now, you have the 31st up there, and then you have June 6th through the 8th, a Philadelphia conference, and then June 9th, the Mystery Writers team with Cyrus Webb is going to be. Well, it's not really saying you guys going to be, but
we got some things going on in May.
Yeah, you're doing something live. June, because I remember B. Swang saying some stuff was going on in May. So I don't see that out there, but I'll help you guys out. I'll try to spend some time pulling up that information and get it published right away. All right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right.
Share.
Yeah,
I'll
man,
appreciate. I'll make sure
we're all in this together. Yeah, man, if you have any people in your stable that's interested in coming on the show, man, just forward me their name and email, and we'll have our producers, get them on the show. I'm trying to at least do 3-4 weeks, so that'll be great.
I will do that. I will make sure all of them get on there with you.
That's right. We got to tell people where we are, man, especially now since like you have the eBooks thing going on strong. We're looking at some technology where if you start getting a series of authors, and we want to do some workshops. We want to try to bring. Once I start seeing my audience really grow like it was back then when I had like 500,000, I couldn't really entertain them with my voice. But nowadays, you get that kind of group. You have to hang out with them on YouTube. You have to be really creative with these people, But I want to try to do what I can to make sure that they're learning about different genre of authors that's out there now. Because everybody's just so hooked on with the urban. I don't want them to just think that's all is out there. I'm trying to teach y'all young people there's some other stuff out there that can make you more proactive with your life, Because you keep taking on that negative substance, and you keep wondering why you have bad men in your life. It's because that's all you read about. So that's all you think about. So that's all you're going to attract.
Much more enriching things to read.
That's right. A lot. Ooh, believe me. So I'm trying to open up that world. So I know it's going to be a process, but hey, I'm up to the challenge.
There you go.
That's right. So get everybody out there to www.spreaker.com, and my username is PositivePower21. And please, everybody, follow us on Spreaker, because we get over 100, 200 followers. I'll be eligible to go on XM radio. That'd be satellite, and you can listen to some of these great people while you're on your long drives on Sundays and that kind of thing. I don't know exactly how it works, but I think iHeart, some kind of way, they make that happen. So please come on out there and follow us so we can, spread our wings, okay? All right, Mr. Camacho. Appreciate you being on here, buddy. It was a great show, man.
Thanks a lot for inviting me. And I'm going to send you some more good guests real soon.
Oh, please do. Please do. Now before we close out the show, is there any final comments you'd like to make, about what you guys are doing?
I just want to say once again, I hope everybody will stop in on Facebook. Austin Camacho, mystery author. Shouldn't be hard to find me. Stop by, say hello, give me a shout out. You can follow what I'm doing with all of my writing, and it'll point you to all my other websites where you can find out about the C3 conference, Intrigue Publishing, and everything else of interest. So find me on Facebook, guys.
Amen. Amen. All right, Mr. Camacho, we appreciate you being here. Hold the line, sir. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Positive Power 21. When it's all positive, it's all power. Take care and have a good night, and continue to browse our website. And don't forget about www.spreaker.com. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Royce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.